Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Luke, and this is my review for The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. So you guys, if you've been paying attention to my channel for the last 2 or 3 years, you'll know that I've reviewed all of the Hobbit movies up until this point, except for this one of course, but that's exactly what I'm doing right now, and if you've been paying attention to those reviews, you'll know that I'm not really a big fan of the Hobbit films. I think they're kind of crappy, and I think that The Lord of the Rings is far superior than these Hobbit films, and I'm just not a big fan of them, and this review is kind of going to be like a collective review of what I thought of the entire Hobbit series. It's not necessarily going to be just about the third and final film. It's going to be about the trilogy as a whole. So first of all, right off the bat, I'm just going to say, I wish this movie would have kept the title of There and Back Again. I think that was a way more clever and just it was just a funner title than The Battle of the Five Armies. The Battle of the Five Armies is just such a bland, just regular title, but I wish they would have kept There and Back Again because I just liked the ring of that a lot more. Also, what I don't like about these Hobbit films, and the third one especially, is all the CGI and green screens. We had the Lord of the Rings films, which used all these practical effects, real sets. It was all filmed in New Zealand, and it had just amazing looking prosthetic makeup and all these cool things, but the Hobbit movie doesn't really use much of that. It's mostly just CGI and green screen, and one of the things I hate most about these movies is that it looks so fake. Everything looks so artificial in the Hobbit films, and I don't know how, I don't understand it, because 15 years ago, with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, they were able to make everything look so awesome and so realistic, and now, 15 years later, it looks worse than it did back then. Not that it looked bad in Lord of the Rings, it's just that I feel like the quality of the way the movies were made really declined. Another thing is, these movies did not have to be split up into 3. Basically, we all know the only reason they really did that was because, 1, the studio and I'm sure Peter Jackson all wanted more money, and 2, I feel like Peter Jackson just wanted to cram as much crap into these movies just because he's passionate about it. I'm sure he really enjoys the Middle-earth tales, and he just wanted to throw as much stuff and fan service as he could in these movies, and I'm not a fan, so for me personally, it really just kind of bogs all the movies down. The Hobbit movies, because they're stretched out into 3 and they're all like at least 2.5 hours long, they all just feel so heavy, and there's just so much crap crammed into them. They just keep going on forever and ever, and they touch on all these characters that nobody cares about, and that's really annoying. And the thing that I do like about the Hobbit trilogy is Bilbo Baggins, Martin Freeman. I think Martin Freeman is the best part of these films. I love the scenes with the Hobbit, the title character, and there really aren't enough of them in the trilogy. The movie is supposed to be about Bilbo Baggins, but it always focuses on all these dwarves that all look alike and all sound alike, and you can't tell them apart, and you don't care about them. I didn't really care about any of the other characters in this movie except for Bilbo Baggins and Gandalf, and you don't really see a lot of Gandalf, and when you do get to see Gandalf, he's always on this weird quest that you don't really understand, and he's like, it's a bunch of magic, and it all just looks so weird, and the scenes with Gandalf in these Hobbit movies have always been really strange, especially the one in the last one. It reminded me of like a music video, because that scene when they're up in the tower in the castle in this third film, it was just super off-putting, and I really did not like that part of the movie. But as I was saying, I think that Martin Freeman is the best things about these movies. I love it when he's doing the riddles with Gollum or Smeagol in the cavern. I love the scene with him and Smaug. But other than that, these movies are just bloated. They're full of just green screen and CGI that's unconvincing. The action scenes are all very bland and just are not entertaining, and it always focuses on a lot of characters that I don't think a lot of people really care about, and it always has these really cheesy melodramatic romances. There's that one with the elf and the other dwarf, and that whole thing was just really goofy and gooey, and I really didn't like that. I don't care about any of that, and I know some people might, but for a general audience who's going in there to enjoy a movie, there's just too much stuff crammed in there, and there are too many things that you just don't care about, and I really did not like the third Hobbit film. I think it's the worst Middle-earth movie ever made, and I really didn't like it. I'm going to give The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies 2 2 out of 5 stars. So that's my review, and that's pretty much my review for the entire trilogy. Out of all 3 of them, I think I might like the first one the best, and the reason I say that is because of that scene with Bilbo and Gollum. That scene is just burned into my brain. I loved that part of the movie, but that's all I really remember from that movie. Oh, and I also remember them having dinner for like 20 minutes. That was something that was prolonged and unnecessary, but it's a funny little thing to think about because it was such a long scene and it did not have to be. That's just what The Hobbit is. It's a big, long train that doesn't have to be that long. That's pretty much it. So you guys, this is lukemick signing off. Please subscribe and I'll talk to you guys later.